everyone. My name is Ann Butenhoff. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I use the pronouns she and her. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick. Whether you're joining us in person, online from home, or gathering with others at the Evening Star or another remote location, we're so glad you've joined us today. It's important to be reminded that UUCB is located on the ancestral homelands of the Wabanaki people who have deep, enduring, and ongoing relationships with Brunswick's lands and waterways, and whose people and culture live within and contribute to the vitality of this community we share. We must acknowledge the painful legacy of the region's history, colonial history, and commit to better understanding it, and we endeavor to recognize and welcome the presence and concerns of the Wabanaki. Today is Sunday, January 18th, 2026. Our minister, Karma Amos, is leading the service, and her reflection for today is entitled The Power of Nonviolent Resistance. Our music is being performed by our music director, Will Bristol, the UUCB choir, and special guests, Jasmine DeRice Miller and John Davidson. If you are new or visiting today and would like more information about our congregation, please stop at the visitors table located in Fellowship Hall right behind you. The folks there will be happy to answer any questions you may have. As we begin our service today, please remember to silence all mobile devices. And once again, welcome. We are very glad you are here.
Good morning. My name is Grace. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome all who are restless for a renewed world. We come carried by ancestors who refused the silence of despair and dared to sing a new song. Their courage whispers through us still. Today, we resist by showing up. We resist by keeping faith with what is not yet. Our gathering is itself an act of sacred dissent, calling us to rise and unite as co-creators of a freer tomorrow. May this flame remind us of those who lived their lives as a light and as a symbol for us likewise.
Good morning, beloveds. My name is Karma Amos. I use she, her pronouns, and I am honored to serve as the minister of this spiritual community. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are from, whatever you are holding close at heart in this time that we share, we welcome you, we value you, we honor your inherent worth and dignity. These days, it feels so important for us to gather. It feels to me like it's been a year since last week. It feels important to come and to recenter ourselves in love, to recenter ourselves in our values, to bear witness to all that is happening in the world, even as we tend to our own spirits and try to strengthen one another for daily living. Last year, the current administration removed Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth from the list of free admission days to national parks, at the same time as they added the current president's birthday. It remains a federal holiday, though, and one that feels so important to observe, to revisit, to learn from, to be inspired by. As it happens, we are focusing this month on the theme of practicing resistance, and celebrating MLK Day is an act of resistance right now. And Martin Luther King Jr. had so much to say about the power of nonviolent resistance, which is our specific topic for today. Our opening song this morning, which we will sing together in a moment, is known by many as the Black National Anthem, and its context feels important to name. The words were written by James Weldon Johnson and put to music by his brother, J. Rosamond Johnson. It is still the song sung most often at MLK observances and other gatherings focused on purposeful resistance to injustice. And as we sing it today, let's pay close attention to the story it tells. It does not shy away from the realities of injustice and suffering that white supremacy has caused and that it is continuing to cause today. But it does try to lift us up in hope and solidarity that we can resist harm and create beloved community if we work together. And now I'd like to invite you to join me in a responsive reading as we kick things off by claiming our blessing. Blessed are we who gather with open hearts together in this space today.
Blessed are we, shadow fighters of resistance, justice, love, and faith.
Blessed are we, the heretics, the outcast, the walkers of our own way.
Blessed are we, the border crossers, the refugees, the immigrants, the poor, the wanderers who are not lost.
Blessed are we, the transgressors, the trespassers, the passers-by, the cause takers, the defiant, the compliant.
Blessed are we, the hand extenders, the sign makers, the protesters, the protectors.
Blessed are we, the trans women and trans men, the non-binary, the cisgender, the multigender, the no gender.
Blessed are we, the friend, the stranger, the lonely, the hidden, the visible, the authentic.
Blessed are we who rise in solidarity. Blessed are we who cannot. Blessed are we who do not.
Blessed are we, for this is our beloved community, and this is who we are.
body or in spirit for our opening song. Lift every voice and sing.
Good morning. My name is Tobin Cooney Calnan, and I serve as your lifelong spiritual formation. I use the pronouns he and they. Now is the time in the service when I would love to call the children and youth forward. So come on forward if you would like to share a story with me. You can come if it's your first time here, your 1,000,000th time here, or anywhere in between. Hi, River. Hello, how are you? Hi, Izzy. Hi, Holden. Hello. Hi, Tess. Oh, hello. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. How are you? Good? How are you? Pretty good? Well, good morning. So today we're talking a little bit about Martin Luther King and some of the work that he did. Does anybody know why we're talking about that? River, I saw your hands. You are a genius, yes. Martin Luther King stood up for equal rights for all citizens, while there's so many more. I'm not going to repeat everything he said, but brilliance. But he also, he was one who stood up to end segregation, to allow civil rights and equal rights for black people. So he was also just a great leader who led with peaceful resistance. So instead of setting things on fire and rage and anger, though I'm sure he felt that sometimes, they would sit and they would embody peace while also resisting what was going on around them by blocking roads or blocking bridges. And there was one march that was led by children. Do you all know what it was called? It was the Children's March. It happened in 1963, and it was children were segregated by what school they could go to. And you said segregated, but does anybody know what that means? Maya? Yeah, the separation based on race or skin color. So there were white schools and there were black schools. And the idea was that, well, how could they really be equal if they're this separate? And so the kids were part of a march to draw attention to segregation and to draw attention to justice and the need for that kind of movement. So I have a story about that march. It's by Monica Clark Robinson with illustrations by Frank Morrison. And it is called Let the Children March. One warm spring night, my family went to church. We weren't there to have regular services. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. He wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom, his brown eyes flashing with fire and love. Dr. King told us that the time had come to march. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job sure enough. I can't march, Daddy said. I've got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulder, but this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs to bear. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army. I said, I'll be fine, Daddy, I promise. Don't worry, Mama. Dr. King didn't like the children being put in harm's way, but he was a daddy, too, after all. But he said that though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. On May 2nd, a sunny Thursday, boys and girls and sisters and cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. In a silence so loud that all I could hear was my heart racing, we began to walk. Hand in hand, we marched, so frightened, yet certain of what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Would I be hurt? Would I be heard? Would it all be worth it in the end? I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd, run from danger, run from fear. Sing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, and cousins and friends. On and on we marched, we marched, we marched. Hate dogged my heels all that day, its yellow canine teeth sharp, but courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, shouted police that first day. Disperse or you'll get wet, police shouted the second day. Disperse or we'll release the dogs, the police shouted the third day. We did not disperse. We kept on marching. We wouldn't stop until things started to change. Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward, and I fell to my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. "Don't worry about your children," he said. "They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail, for they are doing a job for not only themselves, but for all of America and for all of mankind." That night, we crowded into a cell too small for even half of the kids. We sang, "We shall overcome," "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round," and "Freedom is coming." Our parents couldn't be there with us, but still we sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. I was still in jail, but we heard the next day, and the next day, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to sting us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Turn the other cheek, we had been taught. Show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us. But for 7 days, we walked only in love. The jails swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. Daddy said the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march would become a memory, a small part of a larger story, but we had been heard, and the seeds of revolution were sown. 2 days and nights, I stayed in jail. Some stayed even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore, and my best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as the Mississippi River. I had made a difference. "I'm so proud of you, baby girl," Mama said. "Your march is what made them see. With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in an Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of this city. Desegregation would begin. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march made the difference. We children led the way, singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong, we came. It's a pretty powerful story, huh? Yeah, children are pretty powerful. You all are pretty powerful. They are going to sing us out to our meeting spaces. Will you please join us in singing "We Will Keep a Place for You"?
We will keep a place for you wherever you may go. We'll sustain this home of faith and love you've come to know. Go in peace, bring hope to hearts that yearn. We will keep a place for you till you return.
Good morning. I'm Irene Austin, one of the Pastoral Care Associates. Who are those Pastoral Care Associates and what do they do? Sometimes we're not sure if you know. So, a little reminder. Pastoral Care Associates are people from this congregation, just like you, who care and want to help. Maybe someone needs some support through illness, through loss, through a really hard time. We want to help. How can you find us? Our names are on the back of the order of service, and we wear these light blue ribbons on our name tags. You can always check in with us after a service or ask to meet us at a different time. And if you're not attending in-person services, we'd like you to also be able to get in touch with us or share a joy and concern that's going to be read, you can use this email address, joys-and-concerns@uubrunswick.org. Please use us. We're here for you. For concerns today, this is from Faith Woodman and Hugh Maynard. We have heavy hearts as we watch the frightening brutality of the Trump administration as it tramples the civil rights of people in Minnesota. Several of us here at UUCB have lived in Minneapolis-St. Paul and have family and friends there. Like you, we have watched with horror the brutal lawlessness of ICE. We are encouraged by so many citizens who, in a multitude of ways, are thwarting ICE's efforts. Please stand strong with Minnesotans and pray that ICE will stay away from Maine. If ICE comes here, we too must protect our vulnerable friends and neighbors. So well said. And I think especially when we are full of anxiety and concern, we need a little joy. There were no joys written today, but I know there are joys. For me, even though I know some of you are tired of snow and cleaning up, what a beautiful snow today. It just is gorgeous out, a gift. And I so appreciate this community. Thank you all for being here.
As we enter a time of community prayer and contemplation, would you join me in singing our prayer song? Your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push
You are
around.
You gotta keep your heart wide open
Till your faith brings you back to solid ground. Spirit of life, it is difficult sometimes these days to keep our hearts open. When we are afraid, when we are outraged, when we are overwhelmed with empathy for those who are suffering, when we feel isolated or alone. Spirit, help us settle ourselves in these moments that we share together, knowing that these feelings too remind us that we are alive and paying attention. With so much vying for that attention these days, it takes intention on our part to cultivate compassion, to tend to our spirits, to care for one another. Help us resist shutting down or closing ourselves off. May our prayerful singing remind us it is possible to keep our hearts open.
Keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around.
waves wanna push you around.
You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground.
Martin Luther King Jr. offered a prayer that feels eerily relevant right now. This was one of the prayers of his heart that I invite us to pray right now. Break the spell of that which blinds our minds. Purify our hearts, that we may see thee, O God, in these turbulent days when fear and doubt are mounting high. Give us broad visions, penetrating eyes, and the power of endurance. Help us to work with renewed vigor for a warless world, for a better distribution of wealth, and for a beloved community that transcends race or color. As we pray with Dr. King and the saints and with so many others praying similarly today, may we be encouraged to keep our hearts open that we might leverage the power of love. Keep your heart wide open, though the waves
wanna push you around.
though the waves wanna push you around.
You got to keep
Keep
your heart wide open until your faith brings you back.
to solid ground. Amen, and may it be so.
Good morning. My name is Ross Crolius, and I use the pronouns he and his. This is a reading from Pilgrimages to Nonviolence, Stride Towards Freedom, the Montgomery Story by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. In 1954, I ended my formal seminary training with several relatively divergent intellectual forces converging into a positive social philosophy. One of the main tenets of this philosophy was the conviction that nonviolent resistance was one of the most potent weapons available to oppressed people in their quest for social justice. At this time, however, I had merely an intellectual understanding and appreciation of the position, with no firm determination to organize it in a socially effective situation. When I went to Montgomery as a pastor, I had not the slightest idea that I would later become involved in a crisis in which nonviolent resistance would be applicable. I neither started the protest nor suggested it. I simply responded to the call of the people for a spokesman. When the protest began, my mind, consciously or unconsciously, was driven back to the Sermon on the Mount with its sublime teachings of love and the Gandhian method of nonviolent resistance. As the days unfolded, I came to see the power of nonviolence more and more. Living through the actual experience of the protest, nonviolence became the more than a method to which I gave intellectual assent. It became a commitment to a way of life. Many of the things that I had not cleared up intellectually concerning nonviolence were now solved in the sphere of practical action.
Good morning. My name is Will Bristol, the music director, and I use he, him pronouns. For our anthem today, the choir is singing two songs in the gospel tradition. Both were taught to them by ear, and both involve some elements of improvisation. The first tune is called Shine on Me. It's an African-American spiritual that harkens back to another time and place. The second song is titled No Weapon by Fred Hammond. This is a popular urban gospel song that makes use of both Bible scripture and personal testimony in a motivational way. The opening words from this song are taken directly from Isaiah. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. This might be viewed not just biblically, but also with greater context, given the headlines of our current news, as well as the messages of nonviolence that MLK Jr. once put at the core of his messages.
Shine on me. Shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me.
don't know if you know the rule, but it's, I think it's a sin to get out on time at an MLK service, so we're not going to do that. Would you take a breath with me? I don't usually start out that way, but this has been a chaotic couple of weeks in the world. And I don't know about you, but I need the reminders to breathe and try to stay in the present. Last week, one of my colleagues, the Reverend Kenny Callahan, who serves as the pastor of All God's Children Metropolitan Community Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, arrived at the church on the day that Renee Good was murdered by an ICE agent. He heard whistles and horns honking, and so he followed the sounds and found the scenes that you have probably seen many times over on the news. Kenny, with all the others, took pictures with his phone. And when ICE surrounded a woman of color, he and the crowd got righteous and called for them to leave her alone. They began to chant, "We are not afraid." Kenny was detained. He was handcuffed and put into an SUV where another ICE agent asked him, "Are you afraid now?" To which my dear friend Kenny said, "Hell no." After about a half an hour, Kenny was released. And he says, you may have heard this on the news, he says that the ICE agents actually said to him, "Well, you're white. That wouldn't be much fun." That is blatant racism, masked and dressed up in the garb of official power, and it is morally repulsive. How about another breath? I don't know about you, but when Tobin read that children's book, it did not sound to me like ancient history, like something I wasn't even alive for. It sounded very much like what is happening today. And so it is so timely for us to be focusing on the power of nonviolent resistance that, as you heard in the reading, became for Martin Luther King Jr. more than an intellectual theory, more than an organizing strategy. It became a way of life. The excerpt that you heard was from a chapter in his book about his experience as a pastor in Montgomery, where he evolved into one of the leaders in the civil rights movement. It's a reflective chapter called Pilgrimage to Nonviolence, wherein he describes how he came to his convictions about the power of nonviolent resistance. He begins by describing where he started as a young teenager in Atlanta. He wrote, "I grew up abhorring not only segregation, but also the oppressive and barbarous acts that grew out of it. I had passed spots where Black people had been savagely lynched and had watched the Ku Klux Klan on their rides at night. I had seen police brutality with my own eyes and watched Black people receive the most tragic injustice in courts. All of these things had done something to my growing personality. I had come perilously close to resenting all white people." Now, King was not content with that outcome, even as an older teenager, because it was inconsistent with his faith in love and his faith in Jesus. In the chapter, Martin lists all of the books that he read that had shaped his thinking about this, from Thoreau's essay on civil disobedience, which he read as a freshman in college, to Rauschenbusch, to the philosophers from Plato and Aristotle to the moderns, to Karl Marx, who deepened his conviction that wealth disparities were the foundational problem of our times, to Nietzsche, to Niebuhr, and many, many more. And Martin confessed in the chapter that at times he despaired of the power of love in solving social problems. In other words, sometimes he wasn't sure it would work. And then one Sunday, he traveled to Philadelphia to hear a sermon by the Reverend Mordecai Johnson, the president of Howard University. Reverend Johnson had just returned from a trip to India, and in his sermon, he was talking about the life and the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. Martin said, his message was so profound and electrifying that I left that meeting and bought 6 books on Gandhi's life and works. Dr. King eventually adopted Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance and was inspired especially by his salt march to the sea and his various fasts. At the core of Gandhi's thinking was a concept called satyagraha. Satya is truth, which for King equals love, and agraha is force. So satyagraha is this love force. Some call it soul force. Delving deeply into this philosophy diminished Martin's doubts, and he became convinced of the potency of love and nonviolent resistance in social reform. He wrote, it was in this Gandhian emphasis on love and nonviolence that I discovered the method of social reform that I had been seeking. I came to feel that this was the only morally and practically sound method open to oppressed peoples in their struggle for freedom. Now, this next bit may sound a little teachy, but I want to outline what satyagraha is all about. It's made up of 5 principles, and they are these. First, truth, satya. The pursuit of truth requires honesty, integrity, and a deep respect for the dignity of others as well as oneself. So you can see how it's related to love and the soul. The second is nonviolence, ahimsa. Gandhi believed that nonviolence was not a passive stance, but an active force that requires immense strength and discipline. By adhering to ahimsa, people choose to respond to violence with love and understanding, ensuring that their resistance does not perpetuate the cycle of hatred and suffering. The third principle of satyagraha is self-suffering. And this principle is not about martyrdom or self-pity nor self-flagellation. It is about being willing to sacrifice personally for a greater cause. And it also recognizes what is true. Nonviolent resistors face risk, and they know it. Gandhi and King were both assassinated. Jesus was executed by the government. The fourth principle is fearlessness, which is not really about an absence of fear. Fear, like all emotions, is natural, and it has things to teach us, to tell us. But this principle of fearlessness is about not letting fear drive the bus. It's about the willingness to do what is right, even when afraid. And it reminds me of my favorite definition of courage, which is what this is really about, from Dorothy Bernard, the silent movie actress, who said that courage is fear that has said its prayers. And the last principle is unity of life, the belief that we are interconnected and interdependent, that what happens in one place has ripples elsewhere. And King and Gandhi trained people to put these principles into practice through techniques of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, fasting as a public statement, and engaging in a program that proactively constructs a positive alternative to the existing system. Would you take another breath with me? It can be so easy to get carried away by hate. When it comes at us, we may find ourselves wanting to return it in kind, but that will never heal us, nor the polarization and division we are experiencing. Hate and violence can never create the conditions for loving and inclusive community. If we return evil with evil, we become part of the problem and we lose our moral clarity. It is not easy to return evil with good or hate with love. It takes practice and persistence and perseverance and communities of support to help us sustain it. And we won't do it perfectly. Neither did Martin. But friends, these are things we are capable of. We can do this, and I strongly believe it is urgently imperative that we do practice this kind of resistance together. And I want to point out that no one ever feels ready. No one ever feels completely ready for this, right? So if you don't feel ready, you're still qualified. Martin Luther King Jr. intellectualized the heck out of this. Please don't read all those books. Don't waste your time. But he didn't really understand it, he said, until he put it into practice. His theory became a way of life when forged in the faithful spiritual practice of a community. The King Center, the organization which carries on Martin Luther King's nonviolent legacy, has a pledge that anyone can take when they want to make a commitment to this way of life, this loving, nonviolent way of life. It is called the Be Love Pledge. And I think it's worth talking about, sharing with you in detail, particularly against the backdrop of what is happening right now in our country with state-sanctioned violence breaking out in our streets. This pledge also feels so relevant to Unitarian Universalism, to our faith right now, as we are evolving and trying to find ways to center love. If this pledge resonates with you as it does for me, perhaps you might consider making the pledge for yourself. I am making it again right now in the reading of it to you. The Be Love Pledge begins by acknowledging three things: the violence, oppression, inequity, injustice, and hate in our world has to stop. I have a responsibility, this is the second thing, I have a responsibility and a role to play in creating social change for a more just, humane, equitable, and peaceful world. Third, the decision is mine about whether to do nothing in this moment or to have the courage to stand up for justice, and I have made my decision. Starting today, I make a personal choice to be love. I pledge to allow love to drive my thoughts and words and decisions and actions, and to honor the humanity of every individual. I pledge to speak the truth to power in love. I pledge to focus on defeating injustice but not destroying the person. I pledge to support leaders who demonstrate a love for humanity. I pledge to promote unity and refuse to perpetuate or magnify division. I pledge to demonstrate a life of courage, care, and compassion as I boldly confront anything that stands in opposition to love. By taking this pledge, I am helping to create what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community. Friends, if that's something you think you want to commit to, I want to give you a chance to say so and to let your spiritual community witness and support you in it. So if you want to commit to be love, to practice nonviolent resistance in the ways you can, I invite you to either rise to your feet or raise your hand. And it's okay if you're not sure yet, or if you are afraid. This is not a time to shame anybody if that's the case. But if there's only one of you who wants to do that, I want to empower and support you and know that your witness in this place matters, and at the Evening Star, and at the Highlands, and in your house. So if this is something you feel like you want to commit to, would you rise to your feet or raise your hand? Take just one look around at this love force. That is a lot of love, and we are not alone. May our intentions be blessed, and may they become real for us as they did for King, as we practice them imperfectly but persistently. Bless you for your commitment to love. You can be seated.
I'll say a few words about our offertory piece. John Coltrane wrote this after a Ku Klux Klan bombing of a Baptist church, which resulted in the killing of 4 young black girls in 1963. Pianist and composer Lewis Porter speculates that Coltrane took certain phrases from MLK's eulogy of the event, which was broadcast on the radio following the incident. And he infused these phrases into his saxophone performance. These words are, "They did not die in vain," and "Today you do not walk alone."
This is the time in our service when we receive your offering to support the work of the church. All Sunday, non-pledged cash is shared with the monthly Charities with Soul. This month's charity is Maine Family Planning. If you are worshiping with us in person, you can put your donations in the baskets that will be passed. If you are worshiping with us either online at home or at one of our new satellite locations, or simply prefer to give online, we invite you to use the QR code on the screen or share it in the order of service to make your donation. We gratefully receive your gifts, no matter how you give them. Please give as generously as you are able. Will you please join me in the congregational response? May these offerings sustain and grow the work of this church, weaving a tapestry of love and action. Thank you.
Let us close out our service today with a song by the often called father of gospel music, Thomas Dorsey. This was Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite song, and the blues gospel singer Mahalia Jackson often sang this at civil rights rallies during the 1950s and 60s. In fact, she sang it at MLK Jr.'s funeral in 1968. Jasmine and I will go through the refrain in a style that harkens back to that time of gospel music. And then we invite you to join in with us in body or in spirit, however you would like from there on.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired. I am weak. I am worn through the storm, through the night. Lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn through the storm, through the night. Lead me on through the light.
may be seated. In his book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, Dr. King said this: I still believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. May it be so. May we help make it so.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Majersic. I'm a member of the worship committee, and my pronouns are he and him. Because we are intentional about building the beloved community here, beyond our shared time of worship, it's important for us to engage in the practice of invitation. The QR code on the screen will take you to a digital copy of our announcement sheets, several copies of which are available on the harvest table if you prefer something tangible. Here are a few things we want to make sure to highlight. Over the coming months, Tobin Cooney Calnan and Jeremy Litchfield will be holding gatherings after some Sunday services for coffee and conversations to explore how our UU values help us to become centered in love. The next coffee and conversation session will take place in the Merry Meeting Bay room right after the service on February 8th and will focus on pluralism. Allen Avenue in Portland has invited UUCB to join them from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in person at A2U2, Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church, on Saturday, January 31st, for a workshop on this year's common read, Social Change Now, by Deepa Iyer. This interactive workbook offers Unitarian Universalists a path to growing more authentic, connected, and effective as individuals and communities pursuing social justice missions that we share. Lunch will be provided. Email Tobin to RSVP or for more information. The UUCB Growth Task Force has been working to reduce crowding in our Sunday morning worship. To that end, it is strongly urging people who regularly attend in-person services, with the exception of families with children, to attend a service at the Evening Star Theater once a month. We have extended our experiment through March 15th. You may find it helpful or fun to attend with a group of your church friends, chalice circle, or committee. There's plenty of parking, comfortable seats with cup holders, large screen, and great sound, and even free popcorn. And if you want to return to church for a coffee hour or a meeting, it's only a brief walk. And now, Irene and Joel Austin would like to share their experience at Evening Star Cinema.
Good morning. I've gone to the Evening Star 3 times now, the last time Joel and I went together. And I do have to admit that at first, when I went, I really missed the larger community and being part of worshiping with the larger community. But it still was a great experience because there was a small community there, very intimate. We got to chat before and after. We even had a little discussion about the experience and what would we want other people to know to encourage them to come. Anything you want to add?
Sure. Good morning, I'm Joel Austin. He, him, yes. Thank you. I intended, and Irene knew this, to use some humor here this morning. I sometimes will play Laurel to her Hardy, or maybe it's the other way around. And she's expecting that. And truth is, she never knows what's going to be said or happen. So we have fun with that. I cannot bring myself to doing that today. I think what we're talking about here is very important and vital to this congregation, but in view of the solemnity, the energy, the power that is in this room, and the horrors that are going on elsewhere, I'm finding it hard to be humorous. My one trip to the Evening Star Theater was terrific. Did Steve mention the popcorn?
And don't forget the popcorn.
And don't forget the popcorn, no. It was unexpectedly, for me, worthwhile to be at the Evening Star and to have that experience. I don't normally think of myself as particularly distracted or distractible, but there is so much in this environment that goes on all the time that sometimes I am, and I don't realize it until I have an opportunity to do something like the Evening Star. And for me, the biggest advantage in that setting was I could focus. I could look at and listen and be a part of this service without being distracted. Lights are down. There's a big screen. We all know what that's like. So I think whoever came up with this idea, and I was involved in some of the early thinking, I think that person's genius.
I just would like to add that if this is a way that some of us can help make our experiment work, that we retain one service, I can do it once a month or twice a month. I just invite you to try it sometime. It's a great experience. And don't forget the popcorn.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene and Joel. And did we mention the popcorn? Do you want to get involved in volunteerism but don't know where to start? Join the Working for Justice Steering Group at its second annual partner fair next Saturday, January 24th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the sanctuary. Focus group members and some of their partner organizations will be ready to answer your questions about volunteer opportunities. If you have any questions, please reach out to Faith Barnes or Jill Scherer. Now, you probably never thought we were going to get to this. We'd like to give those of you seated in the back rows in the fellowship hall first chance at coffee, while others of you linger just a few moments to enjoy conversation with your neighbors. This will allow us to stack your chairs in order to make more space for socializing. It should only take a few minutes. Thanks for your patience as we experiment together. And remember, you can exit through the door by the AV room as well if you need a quicker way out. Thank you very much.
I'll go.